Okay, so we're going to take a look at our first example where we will use the cosine law to determine the missing side of a triangle. And once again, you will want to know whether you're going to use the sine law or the cosine law on any triangle that's not a right triangle. And so the information that we have on this triangle is that we're given a side, an angle, and a side. So that would be side, angle, side. And if you go to your chart on the first page, you will see that when you have a side, angle, side, you would want to use the cosine law. And another way to think of it is that you have an angle which is contained between two sides, or if you like, situated between two sides. So it's in between the 22 and the 31 that you find the 135-degree angle. Okay, so we're going to find x in this triangle to the nearest whole number. Okay, and we need to label our triangle, so I'm going to call my 135-degree angle A, and then I'll call this B and C. And so opposite angle A is side A, opposite side angle C is side C, and opposite angle B is side B. And I'm looking for x, which I've labeled as side A, so the version of the cosine law I'm going to use is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times cos of A. And so in place of a squared, I'm going to put x squared, because that's the side I'm looking for. And then b squared is 31 squared, and c squared is 22 squared minus 2 times 31 times 22 times the cos of angle A, which is the cos of 135 degrees. And so I'm going to plug all of that into my calculator. So I'm going to go 31 squared plus 22 squared minus 2 times 31 times 22 times cos of 135 and enter. And then I find that x squared is equal to 2409.49365. But I want to find x, so that means I need to take the square root of 2,409. So I'm going to go second x squared to get me my square root, and then second negative sign because that's second answer, and then enter, and the square root of 2400 is 49.0865, and so on. And so my value for x, the missing side, is 49 units. Okay, so that's to the nearest whole number. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at example 2, where you have been asked to determine an angle. And we're going to use our Lionsgate Bridge to work out a problem. So the Lionsgate Bridge has been a Vancouver landmark since it opened in 1938. It is the longest suspension bridge in Western Canada. The bridge is strengthened by triangular braces. Suppose one brace has side lengths 14 meters, 19 meters, and 12.2 meters. Determine the measure of the angle opposite the 14-meter side to the nearest degree. Okay, so here we have a triangle that is side, side, side. Okay, which means you're going to use the cosine law. And this is side B, this is side A, and this is side E. And you want to determine the measure of the angle opposite the 14-meter side to the nearest degree, which means that you want to find angle C. Okay, so if I want to find angle C, then I need to use the version of the cosine law that will give me will ask me to use the cos of c. So that's where c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos of c. Or if you memorize the formula that would solve for cos of c, you would use cos of c is a squared plus b squared minus c squared over 2ab, which is the one that I'm going to use. Okay, so I want the cos of c. That would be a squared, which is 19 squared, plus b squared, which is 12.2 squared, minus c squared, which is 14 squared, all divided by 2 times 19 times 12.2. Okay, so I'm going to put that in my calculator. And I'm going to put the numerator in brackets and the denominator in brackets. Okay, so I'm going to go bracket 19 squared plus 12.2 squared minus 14 squared divided by bracket 2 times 19 times 12.2, and you get 0.67696. Okay, so that means cos of c is equal to 0.67696 dot dot dot. Okay, so I want angle c. That means I want to use the inverse of cos. So angle c equals to the nearest degree. Okay, so I'm not going to clear anything on my calculator screen. I'm going to go second cos to get my inverse cos, and then second answer, and then enter, and I get 47.393 dot dot dot. Okay, and so the measure of the angle opposite the 14-meter side is 47 degrees to the nearest degree. Okay, and so that concludes examples 1 and 2.